Hello, I'm Matt Galloway, founder and chief technologist for Architactile. This video is an overview of Architactile Inception Lite for Apple iPad. Inception Lite is the technology preview version of the full-blown Inception product that will be available later this year. As you can see, I've already got my iPad running, and to launch Inception like any other app, we simply tap its icon. First time you run the app, you'll have the option to complete a brief registration page. You'll then see this welcome page that gives you a variety of ways to contact us with any problems, questions, or feedback that you'd like to share. Just tap to get through the welcome page and you'll come to the projects list. Once you start creating projects in Inception, those projects will show up in the project list on the left-hand side of this screen. To create a new project, we either tap the Start New Project button or the plus button that appears at the top of the projects list. I'm just going to tap Start New Project. We're required to put in a client name, so I'll just put client name. We're required to put in a project name, so I'll just say project name. Optionally, we can put in a location if we have one. We're required to put in a project type. In Inception Lite, there are just 3 project types to illustrate the project type feature, but in the full production version, there'll be a more comprehensive list of project types. We're going to select generic project, which is suitable for any project. If you'd like to learn more about the project types feature, we encourage you to watch the video titled Understanding Project Types. We're also required to put in proposed construction. The options are renovation, renovation with new construction, and new construction. I'm going to pick the last one. And finally, we have a couple of optional size fields to capture your first impression of the magnitude of the project. This is great for when an owner comes to the table with a preconceived idea about the total area or budget of a project. I'm just going to leave those blank and tap Create, and our project is created. Inception is very project-centric, so once you're in the project, everything related to that project is centered around this page. The left-hand pane is the project menu, and the right-hand pane displays the project worksheet or one of the other pages selected from the project menu. Some of the menu items on the project menu, such as use group and cost estimate analysis, will take you down into another layer of menus. To return to the project menu from these submenus, we just tap the back button in the upper right-hand corner to get back to the project menu. If you're on the project menu, the back button will take you back to the projects list. So let's go through the options in the project menu. The first one is Project Worksheet. If the right-hand pane is not displaying the project worksheet, then this button will get us back here. The project worksheet will get a little bit more interesting once we start adding details to our project. The next option is General Project Information. This page lets us edit the information that we specified when we created the project. It's worth noting that the project type and proposed construction fields are not editable after initial project creation, but the values are displayed here for reference. Also on the general information page is Location Cost Factor. This factor can be used to multiply a conceptual budget number based in your home market to scale it to the market in which the project is being proposed. For more information about the location cost factor and how to set the home market in the iPad apps or settings app, we encourage you to watch the video titled iPad Settings app. The cost factors are calculated with data provided by Business News and McGraw-Hill Construction from their 2010 Square Foot Cost Book series. Also in the general information page are optional fields that let you record delivery method. We'll say this is a design build project, and client's desired completion date if you know that at this point in the project. The next option in the project menu is Project Notes. This page provides an unlimited free-form text field to capture any arbitrary notes you might want to make about the project. Next on the project menu is the General Building Information page. Now this page provides the basis for the code analysis features in Inception. At the top of the page there are two fields that will let you record the proposed number of stories above and below grade. These fields are optional, but if you do specify the values, there are some additional features that are enabled later on. The rest of the page allows us to set the building defaults. These are the default values that will be assigned to each new use group as you add it to the project. The occupancy classification pull-down provides a complete list of the values from the 2009 International Building Code, and the blue arrows reveal brief descriptions of each classification, a summary of the sprinkler requirements, as well as the complete list of examples of that occupancy classification from the 2009 IBC. I can tap Select, and that occupancy classification is put in for us. I can pick a construction type. Again, we get a complete list of construction types defined in the 2009 IBC. I'm going to pick type 2B. Now, once I've selected occupancy type and construction type, Inception performs several lookups from the IBC that are useful in early planning. Values provided are the maximum occupancy load for a single exit, the base exit travel distance, both without sprinklers and with sprinklers, the maximum building height in feet, the maximum stories above grade, and the maximum square foot per floor. If we know that we're going to need sprinklers, we can also indicate that with a sprinkler pull down, so I can specify that we have sprinklers. And Inception will look up the sprinkler adds for height and stories and square feet per floor for both a single floor and multi-floor building. And then this last column here gives us a total of the base values plus those adds. So the next item on the project menu is Tear Unassigned Area. This page allows you to enable the automatic addition of unassigned area for each use group based on building efficiency or planning factor. This is really a matter of preference. Some people prefer not to make a distinction between net and gross area in pre-planning, while others like to program in net area and then use a planning factor or building efficiency to calculate the size of unassigned area or tear. So by enabling this feature and specifying your building efficiency or planning factor, Inception will automatically estimate unassigned area based on your net areas or the net areas that you specify. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this feature, and let's say we're going to have a building efficiency of 70%. Inception will calculate an efficiency multiplier of 1.43, which means that the gross area will be 1.43 times the specified required net area. You can also specify the efficiency multiplier, and Inception will back calculate the building efficiency. It also calculates the percentage of unassigned area or tear based on that number as well. So let's go back to the project menu by tapping the back button. Next on the list is use groups. This is where Inception really gets fun. Use group is where you capture the space requirements for the project. We chose to use the phrase use groups instead of room or space because in some projects a use group could be significantly larger than a single room or space, depending on the level of granularity at which you scope the project. For smaller projects, however, a use group could certainly be a single room or single space. So to add a new use group, we can tap the Add Use Group button or the plus button above the use group list. I'm just going to tap Add Use Group. And the first thing we need to do is give this use group a name. So I'm going to call this Office. The next field is phase. We're not going to go into phase in this video, but Inception has some multi-phase project capabilities that we'll be discussing in another video. The next field is new or renovation that applies to this particular use group. This is going to default to the value that we set for proposed construction for the project, which on this project was new construction. We're just going to leave that as a default. Each one of these four options, by the way, have a different grid view down at the bottom with slightly different columns, but they all essentially look the same. The next option is floor, and since we specified the number of stories above and below grade on the building information page, we have options here to put this space on the first floor, the second floor, or the basement level. I'm just going to leave it as unspecified. This use group we set up as new construction, so we're going to have two columns. We're going to have an existing program column and a new construction column. The existing program column is optional. It'd be used if our client was moving out of an existing space and we wanted to contrast the new facility versus their existing facility. I'm going to leave that blank. The second column is where we define the requirements for the new space. So unlike a spreadsheet that has preset equations, Inception allows you to specify any value in the column in any order. If there's enough data to calculate other values in the column, Inception does this automatically. So if you specify occupancy and area, density is automatically calculated. If you specify area and cost per square foot, then budget is automatically calculated. Or if you specify budget and cost per square foot, then area is automatically calculated, and so forth. So for example, let's say we want an occupancy of, we need office space for 15 people, and we want to provide for 120 square foot per person. That's going to give us a net area of 1,800 square feet. We're going to use that 70% efficiency number and calculate that we need an additional 771 square feet of unassigned area for a gross area of 2,571 square feet. I can specify a quality level in terms of cost per square foot. So we're going to give a cost per square foot budget number of $165. and Inception will then calculate our estimated budget of $424,215. To illustrate that I can put in any number, let's say that number was a little bit too high and we wanted to change it to $400,000 and recalculate the cost per square foot. We just put in $400,000. Inception automatically recalculates the cost per square foot at $155.50. It rounds to the nearest half dollar. It then remultiplies the gross area times the new quality level to get us our new budget number, which eliminates any rounding errors in the math to make sure the math stays consistent. So that number is slightly less than the one that we put in. Another interesting feature of Inception is that it automatically writes a text narrative description of the use group at the bottom of the page. This text will eventually become part of a complete written project scope that is suitable for proposals, contracts, and other places where you need to describe the high-level scope of the project in plain English. We'll see a complete scope in just a minute. Along the top of the screen, there are other tabs that provide other views for this use group. The Code Analysis tab is where the defaults from the General Building Information page appear. We can change these values for each individual use group for mixed occupancy projects. The Use Group Notes tab is a place where we can capture freeform text notes about this specific use group. The Project Notes tab allows us to access our project notes without the need to return to the project menu. And before we go into the last tab, Bubble Diagram, I'm going to add another use group real quickly. So I'm going to tap the plus button. I'm going to go back to the Area and Budgets page. I'm going to give this use group a name of Conference Room. And we need a conference room for 20 people. And I'm going to allow a density of 25 square foot per person, which gives us a net area of 500 square feet and a total gross area of 714 square feet. This is going to be a high-tech conference room, so I'm going to budget $275 per square foot, and we have a budget of $196,350. As I add use groups, we can see the summary of each of the use groups on the left-hand list of use groups on the screen. And also in the upper right-hand corner of the page, we have a running calculation of the project total, construction costs, as well as the area of the project. Also, each time I add a space, a bubble for that space is created in the Bubble Diagram tab and sized proportionately. So with no additional effort, I can immediately come to the Bubble Diagram view and show the client the relative size of each group, as well as provide a visual representation of the conceptual layout to help the client understand the relationship of the space, even at this very early pre-planning stage. From the Area and Budget page, I can change the color of these bubbles. So if I want to differentiate based on color, I can do that. As well. So now we have a simple two-use group program. So let's go back to the project worksheet. And here we see that we now have a comprehensive written scope starting to take place. We can email this scope directly from Architactile to our client or our associates. Let's go through the rest of the options in the project menu. We have Cost Estimate Analysis page. On this page, we can take the conceptual bricks and sticks construction budget that we created by adding use groups and quickly add site development and acquisition costs, budget estimates for fixed and movable equipment, professional fees, contingencies, and administrative costs, and calculate a total project budget. And lastly, on the project page, we have a team members page where we can collect all the relevant contact information for project team members. So this concludes our brief overview of Architactile Inception Lite. It's available in the App Store now at no cost, and we hope you check it out and let us know what you think. Please come to our website, architactile.com, and join our user forum, and tell us what you'd like to see and what you like and what you don't. Thanks for watching.